Well, again, something ain't right here. Something, just hold on, hold on. Better. Thrice, artist in the ambulance. Thoughts on Revisited, though. I don't mind some of the collab choices, but for the most part, this from the moment I first hit play on it, I knew it wasn't going to live up to its original. And it was going to be hard to do that, especially given I've heard a complaint from the last record about it, but never noticed it because it's more original material and there was nothing to have an A/B comparison. Now that I have an A/B comparison, yeah, I'm noticing some issues with Dustin's voice and him not being able to hit the moments that I know that he was able to hit from back here, even though it's weird because he was able to with the way the original was done here on last record. But sonically it comes off more Vyashu-ish, Vyashu Alchemy Index-ish, which I wouldn't mind them going back to that with original material and doing it in a way that works pretty well with what he's currently doing with his voice, and hopefully he'll take a little better care of it, please. But yeah. Other than that, man, I really don't feel like talking about this Revisited. I just felt my heart kind of sank a little bit with it. I don't hate it. It's fine. That's the problem. This isn't just fine to me. The original itself, Horns Up Masterclass, we're already going to get that out of the way. Cold Cash and Colder Hearts, just from the start of this. I mean, the somewhat politically charged lyrics that are here that work, and it's them finally, after Illusion of Safety and Identity Crisis, found a way to perfectly blend their melodic hardcore and metallic hardcore sensibilities together. They're perfectly in a way that somehow they get lumped in with the pop screamo scene, but I think they're really more a metallic post-hardcore. That's post-hardcore sound is derived from more melodic hardcore tendencies. I'd say they're more of a metallic melodic hardcore than I would say melodic than a straight up metalcore. In fact, I would go as far as to say they could have been one of the earlier contributions to easycore, the pop punk meets metalcore with that melodic hardcore, post-hardcore-ish tendency thing. I'd say that. I mean, if anything, it might be more emo-y pop punky, maybe, but or at least still some skate punky tendencies that do kind of go hand in hand with pop punk here and there. Though the skate punks do tend to have a little bit more surf rocky tendencies. But regardless, this is let's it's probably one of my favorite riffs on here. Like Cold Hearts is super heavy. It was a great way to start this off, and even Under a Killing Moon is amazing. My usual go-to tracks I would always go to me, I know a lot of people talk about Paper Tigers, but for me, when it comes to just sing-alongs, I love Stare at the Sun, the artist in the Ambulance, and Melting Point of Wax for me. And Stare at the Sun is great. As someone who has my issues sometimes, especially now with involving God, Stare at the Sun is a great track in that regard of just trying to understand faith in of itself. All that's left is... Silhouette is also a really good track here as well. Um, and Don't Tell Him We Won't Ask is great as well. She Cold Her Heart's basically referring to like the big wigs out there that are on the top of their little mountain. Killing Moon basically referring to, I believe, the witch trials, Salem witch trials. It's one of the better tracks in that regard. Especially when they do hit the lines, "Well, watch the witches burn!" I can't do it as well as what he does on this record, to be fair, with the screams. But I can at least kind of do his cleans, kind of. Yeah. But also the way they... man, just... So Black Holes is pretty solid. I mean, I even love... It's hard not to kind of want to sing along to most of this stuff. And then Don't Tell Them We Won't Ask Them, which is just another thing involving politicians and how they get to the point of even... And people that are just serial killers, and how do they live with their lives and sleep at night, and... and just dealing a lot of things involving crises of faith, the issues involving the corporate greed and corporate and politicians' greediness, and Paper Tigers being probably one of the... Even the riffing is great. The drums are amazing on here, and to me, All That's Left's intro is amazing. The riffs leading into with the drums, just the way the drums come in, just and the hits they do, and then when it finally gets that nice little fill before the lyrics start coming in of brr, brr. I think I tried to do this for this year's 40 riffs 40 days. Also the Artist in the Ambulance. I had an ex that kind of had a situation that this might have caused a PTSD for. If anything, late night breaks lock, hear the tires squeal. Red light can't stop, so I spin the wheel. My world goes black before I feel an angel lift me up, and I open bloodshot eyes into fluorescent lights. Sirens hit, the lights close, the doors, and I'm gone. What a great... I love to use that term, Artist in the Ambulance, as a way to kind of be such an homage to like EMTs and all those those ambulance workers. That's really good, and just them trying to at least give a positive spin of being able to successfully save the said life, or keep said life before having them... and stuff, and just the way they... And through songs like this, you could tell where Dustin was starting to really bring in his singer-songwriter stuff. And it didn't start to fully blossom until he brought in his first solo record of Please Come Home, and then that started to bleed into Thrice after that, which was more in the Alchemy Index onwards stuff, including some of the more recent stuff. Though it's, I think, since the comeback record, that it's slightly fallen off a little bit in places, but... not maybe from a songwriting point, but musically they're still solid enough that I still think they're still not a bad record they've made. Even though I used to think that with Vyashu, but that's changed all of a sudden. Even that's grown on me, as I stated when I did a discography review thing years ago. But yeah, overall, this record is just... while on Island Records, and then they went to Epitaph, and yeah, I still think this record holds up since it debuted in 2003, 20 years ago. They didn't really need to do this, but I understand the decision to do it in a way that was also a platform for certain featured guests, and that's kind of it with that. Other than that, I mean, this was just okay. Take it or leave it. it exists, but I just hope that this is your first exposure and not this, personally. But what are your thoughts on Thrice's Artist in the Ambulance? Possibly your thoughts on Revisited as well. Leave a comment below, let me know. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. I will see you in the next video. Whether that be a year-end list or a year-end catch-up, I think I'm going to try to do before I do that. But yeah, take care, y'all.